your tea if you want.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
You've heard it.
You burn your hand. Burn your hand for the cause.
5:40. Okay. I'm gonna
you
put it here in case it rains, so it doesn't.
Beautiful green tea. So the way I normally do this is it's recording like a conversation, like a fly on the wall. So there's no real introduction to it.
Okay.
It's just we have a conversation, and I like to find out kind of basically what you do, how you got into it, and really dive deep because it always intrigues me with this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because you find people that were like, "Oh, I don't believe in that stuff. It's woo-woo. How do they pick up on all of this?" And there are other people who are just like fully into it.
Yeah.
So I've only had that one experience, and during the session, she invited me to her house, and there were parts where it was my grandfather rubbed on my ear, and my grandmother tapped on my shoulder.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an interesting thing, but it was like they're in the room with us, and I was like, what? And then this happened, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, sometimes I ask my guardian angels, show me that you're here, and suddenly I'll feel my hand, one arm becoming so hot.
Yeah.
Or out of nowhere, I'll see like an ant walking, but I'm looking there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how you tell that something's here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So what got you started as a medium?
As a medium. So basically, I don't call myself 100% a medium.
Okay.
I was born in Ghana in West Africa.
Yeah.
I am originally Lebanese, so it's so far from the Lebanese identity, mediumship, basically you're either Muslim or Christian, and you go to church. So I was basically surrounded by tribes 700 kilometers far from any civilization because we had to be there in the forest area. And I remember every night the dancing, ceremonial things happening. So I told my mom I want to go and visit them. I was like 4 years, 5 years, and I loved it. So I would see the tribes every evening gathering around fire, and the medicine man, everyone will come with their problems. So there were no doctors, medicine man there, some plants, and then they had some ceremonial thing where they will pour water on the floor and they will do some prayers, worshiping Mother Nature. And then the person with the problem would come, and the medicine man just rubbing something on their head and pushing them and shaking them, and that person would start maybe vomiting or doing something, and they're okay and they can walk and they're happy. And I said, can you teach me how to do it? And I saw him using some flowers and, some clay putting on. So I went and I started putting and doing like them. And they were laughing because I was the only white person. They're white. I'm not so white, but I was like, the Japanese girl. I'm like, no, I'm not Japanese. I'm Lebanese. I was the only white person there. So there was my nanny with me. So from an expat point of view, I found our life in the house so boring. And I had a call to always go there. So at the end, my mom was scared because I would come with this white paint on my face, flowers in my hair, and my mom would be sad sometimes, fights with my father, or there was war in Lebanon. I'm like, close your eyes, let me heal you, mom, don't cry, And I felt that I want to do something to change the world, to make people happy. And then my story changed and shifted 100% because I was so much in my element in the nature. I would run after the goats, give birth to them, come back with blood. But I was happy that I saved them from the vulture that wanted to eat the placenta. But then my parents decided that this is not a life for a young girl. So they sent me to Lebanon in a boarding school, non-school, Christian school, where sometimes, because I felt so isolated, alone. I was with my sister, elder sister, but really I felt that they removed me from my element and threw me inside a very cold place where you should no more express your feelings, where you have to follow the rules. I had a uniform, so I couldn't play with boys because I would love to play with boys. And playing with boys required to sit on the floor and play with those round balls. And the nun used to hit me every evening because my clothes were dirty. My hair was not well tidy. and my sister would cry for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like telling her, don't you have those fairies talking to you at night? I'm not crying. Why do you cry for me? Why are you worried about me?
Yeah.
She said, Peggy, promise me tomorrow you will not play with the boys and you will behave and keep your clothes clean. I said, no, I'm going to do it. I don't care. My fairies will come and they will talk to me. And the nun used to come at the night. Who are you talking with?
Yeah.
She'll ask the kids, the beds are just there, laying. Did you talk to Peggy? No, they were sleeping. Who are you talking with? And they started calling me the crazy. I swear.
Yeah.
And ironically, my mom and my brother and sisters, my aunt would call me the crazy because I would never say, yes, this is a problem. Everything is okay. There's a solution.
Yeah.
And I would, like, my mom is elder and we're at the beach and we're all here to have fun. Mom, let's swim. Then without her paying attention, I just hold her and throw her in the water. I wanted everyone to be happy. And I said, there are no norms. Whatever makes you happy, do it.
Yeah.
Don't care about what people will say about you.
Yeah.
And then I felt this attraction to me for people who are suffering. I would meet someone, I would go into a house with a friend, and let's say the uncle would come and sit with me for 1 hour, and then I will learn about his life that his nephew or his niece doesn't know anything about, and everyone living with them doesn't know anything. So I discovered that people feel good with me. And when they open up, and I'm like, I was a child and I'm guiding them. Not a child, I was growing up. So I said to myself, one day I will become a healer, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
Ironically, it started with coffee readings. Because I would see in Lebanon people turning the cup of coffee and I was so interested, but I was so furious. I was so annoyed when I would see them saying bullshit. And it's like, it was a prototype. Everyone's saying the same thing. After 3 days, you'll receive this message. So I would take the cup from the hand of the lady who was reading. And I would like 12 or 11. It's not like that. You shouldn't read it like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like so frustrated. I'm like, look at this crazy girl. I'm like, no, didn't you see this? Didn't you see that? So then I started, whenever they finished, I would take the cup and start reading it.
Okay.
And they would find that what I'm saying, after 1 week, Peggy said that. So I have like a cousin, he's an ambassador living in the States. So he started keeping the cup for me. I would be in Beirut studying and I come the weekend. He said, can you keep it? Tell my mom, Mona, can you keep this cup for Peggy when she's there?
Yeah.
Let her read it for me and tell me what she sees.
Yeah.
Then I started saying, oh, people believe in what I say, so it's true. You need this, accolade that, you're not inventing things.
Yeah.
So then, okay, but in Lebanon, it's not nice to be a coffee reader. And even up till now, I try to integrate it as a holistic thing. And it is holistic. Why would you get this image when you drink your coffee and not me or not Joy,
Yeah.
You had it, so there's a reason, huh?
Yeah.
So I believe in science. I believe in science. I believe in messages, and I'm always open for them.
Yeah.
So I had the syndrome of the imposter, where I would feel that it's not good what I'm doing. It's only God who will heal.
Yeah.
It's not good to get money when you heal someone. When someone basically you don't heal, you guide them to heal. So I was in Dubai, and I started surfing on the internet, Googling. And then I met someone who was working with me in Burj Al Arab, because what brought me to Dubai was not something holistic. I was a sales and marketing manager in Burj Al Arab Hotel. That's why I came to Dubai. So I did the pre-opening and the opening. And I traveled the world for the hotel. But I knew deep down that one day I will have my office.
Yeah.
I always had the vision of my office and people waiting for me,
Yeah.
queuing for me.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Peggy, you're crazy. Who will queue for you? You have no certificates. I needed an accolade, a certificate to give me the benefit of the doubt that there's no syndrome of the imposter anymore. You're criticizing my work. Look, KHDA approves what I'm doing, So I looked for institutes. And I found some institute that can give you a certificate to become a clairvoyant reader. I went through the 3 phases of training, and I did them. And I did theta healing, different levels. So I'm open to whatever comes my way when it comes to energy.
Yeah.
So I know that now I mean, the community is big and at the same time small. So word of mouth is the best way to get clients. So I know now that people hear about my work, people feel confident with me because our work requires a lot of honesty and trust, because a lot of things are revealed, and people will feel bad, like you're sitting in front of me, and if you say something, I know that it's not the truth, so I'm like, why are you here? You drove for 1 hour, you're gonna pay me and you're gonna stay here for 1 hour, please help yourself. Just be frank. Maybe it's not your time, but for you to be here is 50% of the healing process. So let's open up. I assure you, no one will know what's happening. It's between me and you. So when people feel confident, and it's very important that this person after goes and talks in his community or her community, and this is the best way to attract clients. So when they feel good, when it's a husband coming to see me because his wife sent him and she doesn't get to know anything from me, from what he said, because it's his privacy and it was tested and he knew that she doesn't know anything. For me, this is something great. It's like a grade A for me. And this is the message I want to give everyone. Don't be afraid to open up. Because, an anger kept inside, a trauma unresolved kept inside, a negative belief destroys you. And we are 99% made of subtle energy, whether you like it or not. We spend 7 hours from, what time were you awake? 5?
6,
6. And look, what time is it? Can you tell me how many hours you were thinking while you were driving, while you were walking?
The entire time.
How many hours?
The entire time.
The entire time. This is subtle energy, yes or no? It's like a Wi-Fi. You don't see it, huh? So and during the night, what we do? We dream. So there's this very famous energy healer, Cindy Dale. She healed more than 50,000 people and works with universities, because now it's taught in China and in the States, clairvoyance reading, and definitely because quantum physics is, it's certifying that this is real. They do tests in labs. They put you separate from another person and they focus on you and that person. And at the end, there's one common idea that both of you share, even though you're not together. And see, we are made of atoms, and atoms, it has been proved that inside the atoms, there's nothing, no material. It's energy. So why people doubt energy healing? Because there's no medicine, there's no big pharma interfering. And it is empowering us. So this is what I tell my friends. You have everything within you. Please trust yourself. Empower yourself. Of course, when something happens, the first thing you do, oh no, I need to call my best friend. Oh, I don't have a friend. I need to drink. I need to smoke something. Or I need to be aggressive. No. Ground yourself. Pray to whoever your God is. I'm not here to ask you who's your God and judge. Pray to whoever your God is. Ground yourself and remember you're here. There's a reason. Leave your impact. The best and the first impact is to be happy. So this is my journey.
That's amazing. Okay, so with the coffee reading. At 12 years old, what did you see, or how did you start knowing something was different to what they were reading?
See, because I'll give you an example. 2 days ago, I was with my friend and we were talking. We were doing a healing session in the nature. And suddenly she saw me distracted because we were under a tree. And I even did a post about this. And I told her, listen, can't you see the word God on the sand? She looks at it. She said, no. I'm like, I swear, I can see Allah in Arabic. I read Arabic. Can't you see it? She said, no. So I took a picture of it and I magnified it. I said, it's very obvious. She said, oh, yes. I saw it immediately. The same thing with the coffee reading, I don't doubt a lot. See, when you start doubting, asking questions, is it correct? Is it my imagination? Khalas, it's not your intuition anymore. The first thing you see, so I used to take the cup of coffee and immediately I start seeing something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really holistic. It's like the traditional way of reading a coffee in Lebanon was, listen, you have 3 mountains. You have to climb them. That means those are obstacles. You
Yeah.
have 3 obstacles. But after those 3 obstacles, great things will happen. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow, that sounds very generic.
No, the first mountain is not a mountain. This was the bed. You are not sleeping well. You're having insomnia. You know, didn't you see it?
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at the bed. You know, it's like something like that. It's a bed, you know?
Yeah.
So I started doing it with my friends and doing it with my mom's aunt and
Yeah.
doing it with elder people who come and visit us. So there's no judgment. And I don't care. They're not going to see my friends. And they were happy when they come to see my mom. Where is Peggy? Peggy, can you come and read the coffee for us? So I was so happy, you know?
Yeah.
And then I know I do it, but I can't do it for myself. And I can't do it for my mom. And I can't do it for my sisters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always blocked, you know?
Yep.
There's a French say, le chausseur est mal chaussé. The shoemaker is the one who has the worst shoes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe maybe you suffer from that sometimes.
It was the same with as a personal trainer. I was great. I could train clients, but as soon as it came to my family, not a chance in hell.
Definitely.
Not a chance in hell.
Yeah, because I think I know a lot, and maybe there's a emotional entanglement with it, so I prefer them going elsewhere.
I think it's the emotional entanglement.
Yeah. So what my sister does sometimes, she just tell me it's her friend cup.
Yeah.
Because she has a holistic friend who loves my input.
Yeah, okay.
So I do it, and then she comes and say, you know what you said? It was really correct.
Cheeky. Cheeky. And it does that, and energetically, it doesn't change it.
No.
Wow.
No.
Obviously, it's what you perceive that cup to be.
Definitely. It's not about the person. It's what I see.
Very interesting.
And this is why when my clients, they come back, they say, Peggy, do you remember first time what you said? Oh my God. I said, please, I don't remember anything. That's why I tell you, record it. Record it for your own sake so you can, because you leave with a roadmap.
Yeah.
So please don't waste your energy. Follow what the energy is saying to you and have a step, have a roadmap to follow whatever guidance you received. So when they come back and say, Peggy, you said that, I'm like, I don't remember. And it's the best for me not to remember. Can you imagine? The confusion?
The confusion, the chaos, the clutter, everything.
Yeah.
Just not what you need. Okay, so you had one with Joy. You had a story that she told about how you guys met. You had that calling for her to be able to come back.
So basically, Joy, there was something that attracted us. I went to the conference that a lady did about holistic healing through food. Barbara O'Neill.
Yeah, okay.
And I think she wanted to go. So I posted, I didn't know Joy. I posted something about the wheat and how it's so much worked on, genetically modified. That's why you have celiac disease and intolerance.
And she's gut health, so that
Yes, me too. So she said, oh my God, I wanted to go there. Good for you. Her message was so familiar. I resonated with her as if I knew her.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to go together and we couldn't. Yeah. It was something moving inside of me. So after a week, I said, and I saw that she started following me. After a week, I said, listen, would you like to come over for a reading? And I thought she lived so far, but she lived in the marina. So she came walking.
Oh, wow.
And then I did the reading for her. And her father said to her, no, I'm sure she went into your profile and she read about you. I'm like, seriously? Even now, I never go into her profile. I just like stories, you know? For me, it's not like a challenge. I refuse to get information. During the readings, I tell my clients, please start asking questions. And if you have a precise questions, it's even better. But I don't want you to tell me anything. They say, do you want to know a lot about me? If I'm married, no. Just let the information come as it is. And let's after try to cut it into pieces and narrow it.
Amazing.
So, I gave her information. It was spot on. I'll give you another example. This lady that my sister gave me her cup, she is a holistic therapist as well. She lives in Lebanon in a very nice fisherman village, and she has her fish shop and a little restaurant. So it's a daily fishing. There's nothing frozen. Everything is fresh. But she never dreamt that she will travel. She was content. And then I did a reading for her. And there were no funds for her to travel at all. It was out of the question because she needs to pay her school fee for her son, and her husband was ill. And I said to her, my God, I'm seeing a harbor. I'm seeing a place just like our village in Lebanon. But it's the Mediterranean, but not where you are. And I see you doing a speech. And suddenly I said, it's Italy. And after 2 months, she sends me a testimonial. She was contacted by a company that prepares testimonials and pictures and videos of little authentic restaurants by the Mediterranean, but the Arabic Mediterranean, like Tunisia, Lebanon, Palestine. It's Mediterranean, And they invited her only for one day to Italy, and they sent her the ticket.
Wow.
So she went and she did a speech there. And when she was doing it, suddenly she froze. She said, oh my God, Peggy said that. It's not me. It's the energy. It's the energy. I mean, I get insights. The insights can be about your personal life, your relationships, your career, your health, your spiritual growth. It depends, And then I receive as well when I dive into the energy. After the insight, I scan the auric field and I start receiving messages and informations about traumas, past lives, blockages, limiting beliefs. So why I call myself holistic intuitive reader? Because I blend my intuitive insights with a lot of modalities that help the client heal. So if I see that there is a lot of fear created in childhood, and this fear made that person grow up building a certain pattern, and this pattern served them very well when they were kids, but as a grown-up person, it starts sabotaging them. So I asked them, would you want us to work? Because it's based on free will. Would you want me to work with you on upgrading your inner child and bringing them to your world and cutting the cords or releasing the hooks if you're afraid of cutting the cords? And they say yes, so we do it. So I do energy cord cutting. I do claiming energies from past life, from people and places. I do forgiveness and release of anger.
Good.
Forgiveness is very important, very, very important. And amazingly, forgiveness is the key to abundance. Is a key to abundance.
Yes.
If you resent someone who did you bad, it's your right to resent them. It's your right to have anger because it validates your pain that I suffered. But the day you do the forgiveness, even if they died, even if they're not here, you deserve it because there is a shift of energy, and you will feel it in the process. You will really feel it and embrace it. There's a shift of energy, and you start attracting abundance in health, wealth, and love.
So
I've experienced that.
So when it comes down to forgiveness and going through forgiveness, it is. They have to really feel the emotion, because a lot of people say, I'm going to forgive this, but I'm going to forgive my ex.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you, it's 2 phases. I start with phase 1, the release of anger. You can't forgive without releasing the anger, because when you release it, you have to feel the anger. So I take them to that incident. It's painful when you have sexual abuse, when you have physical abuse, mental abuse. It's really, or people from the war. It's really very, very hard. I'm like, wow, I protect myself 100% because sometimes my tears flow, So I guide them to the process where I bring the person who did them wrong on a virtual screen, and it's a neutral screen, no judgment, and it's protected. I put roses. Roses are beautiful. They have beautiful smell. So it brings the people in. But then roses have thorns. When you affect my energy, the thorns are there to kick you out or to remind you to respect me, okay? So you're there, and I give you a stick, I give you water, I give you a towel, whatever, to hit, to spit, to kick, to do whatever you want, to reverse the roles. I mean, you're the evil now, taking your revenge. You owe it to yourself. You cry, you scream, you hit.
Is this metaphorically do it, or they'll physically do it into?
Oh, sometimes they stand up and because they're under hypnosis. Sometimes it was online, and the woman went back to her marriage date. she was getting married, and the mistress of her husband was there, invited, and was the witness, and she never knew that she's the one. So I took her there. So she started hitting her. The phone flew, and the session was cut. So I had to call her again.
Wow.
It was really funny.
Wow.
Well, she was so happy, amazing, So after the phase 1, you move to phase 2, where we create another virtual screen that has the shape of a heart, and it's called the heart of forgiveness, the pure heart of forgiveness. And there's a process where I walk them into it, ask them to bring the person who did them wrong. When you forgive not because you're offering them a favor. It's you who needs the peace.
Yep.
So when you forgive, it's because you need peace. So after the forgiveness, you will feel that a lot of things that were blocked in you energetically will be released. So you are the first one to receive that. And definitely it's a chain reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you resent someone, when you reject someone, when you have anger towards someone, trust me, they don't know anything about what you're going through.
Yeah.
You go through hell every day, 100 times. They don't know anything about that. Nothing at all, So.
Can you tell if someone's going through that without them actually openly talking about it? So, as an example, like there are people that are through my life where I found I was repeating a cycle of a certain type of person, and I reckon I made peace and forgiveness with that first person. Then I found myself into another cycle with a different person, completely different person, felt the same cycle and same person. And then I moved through that one, and then that person then kind of reappeared, but in another person. But I moved through it very quickly. And I feel I've moved through a lot of these things, but I'm not sure. There are parts of me where I'm like...
You remember what I asked you at the beach?
Do you resent your ex?
Yes.
Yes. So it's not I very much moved through all of that.
Yeah.
She keeps trying to contact me, and I'm just like, it's not my time. I'm not here for it. I've moved through all of this. So that I feel I've moved through that. I've done a lot of work. What I feel is a lot of work to move through that, to make peace with everything of what happened. But it's the other ones, which obviously one was ex was female, but then 2 other people that showed up were males that were friends. So it's like, is that tied to it, or is it, how do you know you've moved through that? Like, what would that be?
I would say it might be the subconscious mind creating a pattern.
Yeah.
So you don't go to the next step. You keep on stuck in the first step of leaving them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
you feel more protected doing that.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I cut it. I will not face it.
I did a lot of ayahuasca. I went through a lot of...
Yeah, you faced it with yourself.
Yeah.
But were you able to sit with them?
So we had a conversation. Yeah, we did. We had a conversation. We were able to have a conversation. It was a really beautiful conversation. Next conversation.
So deep.
Yeah, it was good, but there was the talk of doing it back, and I was like, no, it's not happening. And then there was a phone call about 2 weeks later, and that phone call 2 weeks later, that entire day I had heavy anxiety, and I'd actually smoked the joint because I was like, I just can't focus at the moment. And we got on the phone, and it was a thing of, oh, you're stoned, and the face that I used to dread came up. And she called me on video camera as well, on video call, which I was like, I didn't expect that one to happen. And halfway through, I'm like, I can't do this phone call. I need to go.
See, there's something still triggering you.
Yeah. So it was...
Yeah, the wound is still there. You didn't forgive 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, because there was a constant anxiety.
When you forgive, you let go. You will be so high and they will be low. Anger pulls you down. Forgiveness brings you up. My God, you will even have love for them. Sympathy.
I feel there's love. I feel there's sympathy. I feel there's so much of that.
Yeah.
And I really feel for the position she's in and what's happening with her, because I've had people that have told me where it is, and I really feel for her. I really do. I wish there was something that I could do, but I also tried doing that a lot through the relationship. It didn't happen. So I moved myself away from it. I pulled myself away because I'm like, this isn't healthy for me at all.
Mm.
There was, again, there was, I think there was a comment which I was like, oh, there's still that no change. So I'm like, I'm not even going to respond to this person because there's just no point in my energy giving it that because I do that.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
See, we say from every trigger, there's a lesson. It triggers you. Yeah. If you dive deep down, because your subconscious mind is fed by the conscious mind. So when you were triggered and you said you freaked out, you don't want to do it online.
Yeah.
If you sit down with yourself, you know how to breathe.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself, what is the universe trying to teach me? What is the lesson?
Yeah. That's what I've tried to ask. I've literally tried to ask that, and I'm like,
your ego.
Yeah.
Humility.
But I will sit there. I've gone through like deep breath work. I've gone through, even through meditations, asking, it's like, what is this? Why do I feel that in that moment of someone?
Do you get an answer?
No.
You don't?
No, I don't receive an answer and then I put that to as like, there's no answer because it's been moved through. So I'm not sure. It's very interesting because, again, I don't have the resentment. I don't feel I have the resentment. I'd feel...
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Through practice, I've discovered that sometimes we close up, the subconscious mind protects us and pushes us towards a denial without us noticing that there is a denial, because this is how you survived the hurt. This is how you survived the bleeding. So you stop the bleeding by denying it, by denying what's happening, by staying strong. So I'll give you an example of a friend of mine who doesn't live here. During COVID time, I did a session for her, and she is a sophrologue. She works with energies as well. I knew her when we were studying, doing our master's degree in France, and she used to work with Broadway stars. And she did a lot of money. And I'm like, now she told me she's working with prisoners and she lack money. Her husband and her, they're divorcing. Her son doesn't talk to her. It was the autumn. Everything was falling down. I said, listen, I'm getting an insight that there's something related to your childhood. But I lived with her for 2 years. I'm like, what am I gonna know? She told me everything. When I took her to her childhood, she was abused by her father's best friend. She never remembered that. She would have told me.
Yeah.
She was crying. Said, I can't believe it. I forgot that. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
She told me I couldn't believe it that I forgot that.
Yeah.
Imagine. I'm like, seriously? I'm like, after the session we were talking, I was like, really, I feel hurt because we lived together. You knew a lot. When my father passed away, I've been through hell emotionally with my partner and a lot of things. And she knew everything. I said, and you hide that on me? I could have helped you, just support. She said, I swear, Peggy, I discovered that in the session. Imagine?
Yeah, wow.
So I read about that a lot. And I discovered that it's amazing the way we function.
Yeah.
Because this is how we survive. She would have never got married, maybe, and allowed a man to touch her.
Yeah.
She would have never had kids. Okay, maybe it was better for her to heal before doing all that, but it's okay. There's always a way. There's always a time to heal.
Yeah.
But this is beautiful. It will come to a time, if you are a deep person and spiritual, you will work on, I'm not saying that it is a must. Yeah. Maybe with you, it is anger that you still keep, but you don't know and you're denying. Maybe there's resentment. Maybe there's a why me? Why not me? Someone else. The why, the worthiness.
Yeah. I think, look, out of all of it, I'm very grateful for everything that happened. Because without it, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have understood people. I wouldn't have understood mental health. I wouldn't have understood ADHD, NLP. I wouldn't have understood these things because it was all through her that I was able to understand this.
She was the portal to this world.
Yes. I was going through this. This was a part of it for me, but she was an indirect portal.
Okay.
So I was going through, I wouldn't because I had to, as soon as it ended, I had to go very deep into myself to learn and grow to get to where I am now. So I'm very grateful for a lot of it, and I wouldn't change a single thing, because as painful as it was, all those moments were part of what built me to here where I am now. So that's why it confuses me. It's like, well, if I'm very grateful for all these things, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be in the position I am now.
Yeah.
Where does this potential thing coming from? Because you wouldn't have asked that question without there being something there. That's a given.
I had to.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know why.
Exactly. So you wouldn't have asked that if there was not something there.
Yeah.
And
you know, I don't know you since a long time.
Exactly.
So I was like thinking, and it was turning in my head. But then you saw me. I just walked directly.
It came straight to
and
me.
It came from.
Yeah, it came straight to me. So that's why I'm like, as we're having this conversation, you're talking about these things. That's why I'm like, okay, is there something that I'm unaware of?
There's something important. I had a client, the last client I had before today, it was like Thursday. I said, it's very simple. We need to accept sometimes that people are not in love with us.
Yeah.
People don't love us. People don't like us. This is fine. Accept it.
Yeah.
Don't impose yourself. Imagine living with a woman who loves you more than you love her, who sometimes you feel, my God, I just want her to leave.
Yeah.
So you can sometimes, energy changes, experiences. So it's us not accepting that. But it's very okay sometimes to accept this.
Yeah.
That is normal. Things happen.
Yeah.
Just basta, just accept it. It doesn't have anything to do with your worthiness.
Yeah.
What attracted you at the beginning attracted you, but it doesn't exist anymore because you were growing.
Yeah.
Maybe she was growing differently, or maybe she didn't grow after you met, or maybe you grew more than how she met you. Maybe you were her baby and she was trying to heal you and guide you, and now here you are growing up, becoming like her. So there will be clashes. So it doesn't have anything to do with your worthiness. When it's not working, it's not working. Doesn't.
So okay, so I was in a short relationship recently, and I noticed a very big energy shift in that very quickly. And after that energy shift, I was like, let things play out, because there were a few things that were happening, and I was like, okay, it could be this. That's what she's telling me. Benefit of the doubt. Next week went by, and she said something else, and I was like, okay, it could be this. Benefit of the doubt, but something's off. And I got to the third week, and she'd kind of come back, and we were then living together. And it was just that whole thing of, it was very standoffish. There was no affection. There was no nothing. And I was like, okay, a conversation needs to happen. First thing, old me wouldn't have done that. Old me would have done what my father did, and I would have hidden my emotions away and let it go away and hoped that I was going to do that. That first thing I stopped doing. Then I had the conversation, and I noticed the things of, it was like, oh yeah, she was like, I'm not sure if I want this. I'm retracting because I feel last time I tried to give it all in an attempt to see if it was working, I lost myself. So I'm not going to do that this time. And I'm like, well, hold on, that defeats the purpose of trying to see if something's going to work. And then she went into herself and basically barely came into that. We barely saw each other until we went to bed or in the morning, which passed by. And then I was like, okay, cool, this is not going to work. I'm not going to put myself through this. This is just not it. It's just not it. And I caught that within 3 weeks. But previously I was married for a very long time. So I took that as, oh shit, that's a massive bit of growth, because everything that I used to do, I haven't done. And we're still friends. We parted ways, everything's very amicable. Did
you try and ask her why she said, I lost myself in it and I don't want to lose myself again?
Lost herself in our previous relationship. It was, she started, when she means lose herself, she was giving herself too much. She was trying to be with someone that she didn't feel for, and she was losing herself in that, thinking that it was going to work. And that's what it didn't go for. That's why she didn't do it.
So her feelings changed.
Yeah. And I said her feelings changed 3 weeks in, and that's why I noticed that straight away. And then when she tried to go, oh no, just you can stay around there.
Oh, but you know what? That's okay. You're mourning now, so it's totally normal. It would be abnormal to say, I'm fine, nothing happened.
Yeah. Well, this thing, I feel very okay. I feel like I've moved through this very quickly, because I called it, I saw it, and I was like, my energy to how it was there to where it is now are two very different people. So I'm very grateful for that. So I look at the progress that's happened there, and then I look back at the previous relationship. I'm like, I've learned a lot from that. I'm grateful for both of these, because without her, I wouldn't have come here. That was my little kick to come here. And I think we've had the conversation, the reason why I feel I'm in Dubai. So I know I'm here for a reason.
Yeah.
I know that's why I feel very grateful for everything that's happened. So that's why it confuses me to think, okay, how is it? Is it even something that's attached to that, or is it something completely different to my ex? Because again, you wouldn't have. That's what I mean. You wouldn't have asked the question if there wasn't something there. So that's what.
Yeah, it's definitely there is again something.
Yeah.
From the words she said, I mean, we are. Come on, we are human beings, and we want to be loved, and we want to be appreciated for who we are, and we want to be cuddled and thanked for our presence in their life. And here is someone telling you, I don't want to lose myself in the relationship again. Definitely your ego. Come on. Yeah. And this is good that you have an ego.
Yeah.
Because when you have an ego, you'll take good care of yourself.
Yeah.
But there are two reactions. Either you go and hit the wall again and beg for love, which is not correct.
Yeah.
And you are doing the second reaction, which is, fine, I'm leaving. I don't want to beg for love.
Yeah.
Okay, but it doesn't have to do with you. Or if there is any message for you, you need to see why it didn't work. Did you do something? Not that you did something wrong. It's very normal that in couples, what attracts you at the beginning with time.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, the energy shifts. You know, we change. You know, like a lot of women say, "Oh, you know, you will see them before they got married, how active they were, business women, and then suddenly they get pregnant, they're married. My God, I'm like, have you seen how you became? I understand you have kids." But of course, your husband loved you for who you were. He needs to grow with you. Of course, he needs to share with you. But love yourself again. Go back to who you were.
Yeah.
There is a change in the personality that both of you are offering to each other. So you're saying that he's not loving you like before, and he's saying she's not the same woman. Of course, he's becoming maybe so selfish. They need to be a talk, but as well, you need to analyze the situation.
Well, for the previous one, I know exactly what it was. It was just very two different people. Very, like, it was what attracted originally was not strong enough to hold it together. Two very different people. Very Dubai girl. I'm not very materialistic.
Okay.
So that one there, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, cool, it's not going to work.
Okay.
I just had an idea of what I think it may have been, because with my ex, it was meant to be a family, marriage, life partner, all that sorts of things, and it wasn't. And now being 35, I was like, well, now you've got to find another person. It's like, why couldn't you have just been that person? Why couldn't have that sorted out? So that's what I thought. I was
why
like,
not me? Why someone else? Why not me?
Yeah. But then again, very much that. But I'm also very glad it's not me, because I've seen over 2 years, things have not changed at all. And I'm very glad that wasn't me.
The day you stop saying that, you will heal from it.
I'm very glad it wasn't me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the part to work through.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like you're putting her down, and she's not the one I'm lucky that I'm not with her anymore. Respect her entity, respect who she is. We're not here to judge anyone. Of course, it's hard to say it.
Yeah.
It's like when I speak with my sister from distance, and I'm telling her that, she's like, my God, so you want me to live in an euphoric world? In a placebo effect world where I'm always lying to myself? I said, because you're feeding your subconscious mind. Literally, you'll be there one day.
Yeah.
So just accept it. Why do you want to, that's what I tell her, why do you want to feed it with negativity? Feed it with positivity. Lie on it with positivity. Because as well, the negative you're seeing doesn't exist. It's you saying, what about if it happens? So why not playing with it positively? So this is with you as well.
Interesting.
Love her the way she is. Love her. God bless her. May she find happiness.
Yeah.
It could have worked, but it didn't work. That's okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So, and with that, to be able to move through that, obviously it's very easy to say, I release you with love. Like, I love you for who you are. I wish you the best.
Voilà.
Having that, is it just as simple as saying that? Or then, because you can say that.
Yeah.
But then you could also go back in a couple of days and something happens, and next year, it's like, I'm so glad that's not me. So how do you
Yeah,
fully?
it's through a process. I can take you when we do a
Yeah,
session
of course.
together. I'll take you through that.
Yeah.
And then I'll put you with her. And then there might be things you never dared say it to her when she was in front of you physically.
Oh, there's plenty.
This is the beauty of the virtual screen, because the effect on your mental well-being is the same as if she is here.
Yep.
Okay, so and I did it with the lady. Her mother was dead. She passed away.
Yeah.
And the shift I noticed in her life after that, my God, actually we became very good friends, because it's amazing. I was like, wow, in adoration with the shift of energy that she had, and how she attracted abundance after forgiving her mother, who was an evil person with her. But it's amazing, because I did a session for her today online, and I told her, my God, there's a misconception. You were a baby, and I see your mother breastfeeding you with a lot of love, but you never knew that. You were a baby. It's after that that the problems started. And I was thankful to the energy that showed me that picture. And when I described the mother, how she was dressed, she said, yes. I said, I see you, and she's feeding you. And she's so proud. And this was instinct. It came without a guide, without a book. So she had it. But it's after what happened in her life made her treat you bad. You need to accept it. It was her. She did what she knew.
Yeah.
So she needed, however, to know that her mother loved her.
Yeah.
So whatever healing we were working together, she was ready to do it. But inside, why not me? Why didn't she love me? But from me, I was asking the energy, guide me. What shall I do next? And then suddenly I see this image. I said, I'm sorry, I need to tell you, whether you believe it or not, because you were a baby. Wow, I see your mother breastfeeding you with love, playing with your face, hugging you. She loved you. I'm telling you, she loved you. And this gave her a feeling of worthiness that was unbelievable.
Incredible. Okay.
We all seek love,
Yeah.
And when someone let us down, wow.
Yeah.
You become homeless. You build your home around that person, and that person takes the home and goes. You become what? Homeless. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's hard, but the beauty is that there's always a solution. There's always healing to be done. This is the beauty. Yeah. It's just like a tree. There are cycles in life. You go through them. And the more you'll be looking back, you say, wow, I really love the learning I did. I really appreciate. Now, there are a lot of things you can't do them. There's age factor as well, maturity.
Yeah.
Like I call my kids and say, come and sit and listen to what I'm doing. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I knew that your age, oof.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long have you been doing all of this for? Like, when did you get your first clairvoyance certificate to then develop into where you are now?
See, as I said, I was doing my clairvoyance certificate, but I always had in my background a police knocking my door and taking me to jail. Being in Dubai, the religion. So I was like always scared, and like I would do it only to friends. So I was hiding behind Theta Healing, the title Theta Healing, because that's like hypnosis, a softer hypnosis. But to tell you that I was like doing really the clairvoyance has been like now 4 years. And we always go, the teacher invites us from time to time, the old students, to come for sessions, refreshing. And then like, wow, Peggy, you've been doing it? You're doing it as a carry? I'm like, yes, check she doesn't like Instagram. She's a traditional person. I'm like, why don't you change and do something? No, this is how I am. I said, fine.
If it works.
Everyone has a different. She said, I have like 300 students graduating, only 2 are now living from it and getting, as a carry. It's you and another girl. And ironically, both of us are Lebanese.
Ha. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Voilà.
Okay. That's blowing my mind. That's the entire story of it. So where can people find you on social media?
Okay, my social media, I have got Instagram, Healed by Peggy.
Yeah.
And my Facebook account is Peggy Sphere.
Yeah.
And I've got a website, Healy by Peggy.
Healy by Peggy.
Heale, because it was taken by another
Yeah,
Peggy, so I added the E, Healy by Peggy.
Bloody Peggy.
Well, but I'm mostly on Instagram and a lot of events I participate in, and word of mouth. Voilà.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's blowing my mind.
See how energy works. I have a feeling I know you 7, 8 years.
Exactly. But the beautiful thing is, you never, there's no thing as coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
Things aren't said at random to people. You aren't feeling go talk to that person for no reason.
Yeah.
These things aren't happening.
My daughter tells me, Mom, you're so frank. You should stop it. You go straight, because she watches me, you go straight to that person and then you tell them something, but some people are not ready. I said, listen, I run my readiness scale.
Yeah.
I know I have my readiness scale. I put it, and if it's above 50, I go running. And I say it. So I was like looking at you, putting my scale. Like recently, I met a girl. She's not a teenager. She's like 35 years old. And I was with my daughter, and she's a salesperson. She had a lot of pimples on her skin, and you could see that it's not the skin. I scanned her immediately, and I saw the guts. So I was paying and leaving, and then I said to my daughter, 1 second, I'm coming. Wait for me outside. And I went to the lady. I said, do you drink cow milk a lot?
Yeah.
Yes, I love cow milk. Every night I have cereals with cow milk.
Yeah.
I said, do you eat bread? Yes. I said, can I ask you something, please?
Yeah.
Stop bread and cow milk, and I want to come after 2 months and see you. Drink a lot of water, have fresh fruits. And then my daughter came and she was like looking at me like that. And then we went out. Mais maman! She started shouting, why did you do that? I'm like, no, she's happy. I'm going to follow her. I'm going to come and see her. I'm like, I felt it with my mom. I'm like, I felt it, Mary Jo. She said, please promise me not to do it anymore.
Okay, I promise you. Like behind the back. It's like, yes, I promise. That's never going to happen again. Bloody kids, don't you love them? Well, thank you for that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
You're incredible. Thank you.